Alright guys, I think I just spotted a Rolex. Let's go see. Alright guys, I think I did, but I said, can I take a picture of your Rolex? And he was just like, nah, and kept walking. Oh well, I tried. By the way, it was a sports model, all steel, swivelly bezel, pre-ceramic. I want to say it was a sub or a GMT. I guess it was a sub. All right. Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so if you're ever outside filming with your iPhone and you're having problems with wind noise, a tip that I picked up from another YouTuber is to pop your sock off. Right now I'm using my right sock, and put it over the bottom of your phone. You're probably not hearing wind noise, and you're probably not going to, because it sort of acts as a wind dampener. Fantastic hack. A wind sock, we can call it. All right, so JojO writes in the unboxing of my latest GMT. He writes, I have a feeling it's an expensive fake. Well, if you have a Rolex and a watch channel, you're gonna get people trying to call you out on your fake watches. And it's always sort of interesting. And part of the interesting thing is to sort of guess the intention behind the poster. I think sometimes they're just straight up trolling. I think other times they genuinely are making an honest guess. And this is the most interesting of all. The ones that I don't think know for sure, but they're kind of throwing that idea out there to see if it sticks, to see if you go, oh, you got me. Rolex is really interesting in that it's probably one of the most counterfeited and faked items out there. Now, I just pull that out of thin air. I don't have any stats to back that up. But just through my anecdotal experience, it seems to be a huge market for fakes and a huge fake industry. The bus is coming? Oh no. All right, we'll have to make a part 2. I'll be back. All right, where were we? Rolex, the fake watch market. The two are very closely intertwined. And, you know, just as we sort of try to guess what Rolex is going to do and keep a close eye on them and predict things and watch their moves, people are as passionate about the fake Rolex market. You know, they talk about the innovations and the best fakes out there, and they're sort of looking towards super fakes that can even fool watchmakers and perhaps at some point even Rolex itself. Well, maybe not, because they have those serial numbers, but what happens if they get one of your serial numbers and it just looks like a legit Rolex? I mean, I guess that's possible. It could happen in the future. And then you could take it to Rolex and I suppose they possibly could service a fake watch, which would be insane. I don't know. It would be very hard to do, and it really, for a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of different little Easter eggs that Rolex could put in the watch to make sure that really never happens. But I suppose in theory it could, and it's sort of interesting to think about. So I can see how people go down this rabbit hole. But they can get pretty expensive, and a few fakes is getting close to the money that you could use to buy yourself a real Rolex. So now, sometimes people say, you know, there's a disadvantage of having a Rolex in the sense that people will assume it's fake. And I've never had that worry. I've never really thought about it. The only time it's crossed my mind is when I briefly, for like 30 seconds, contemplated getting an oyster quartz, and I thought, well, how is that staccato secondhand going to go down? You know, I think if you're buying and paying a lot of money for something like a True Beat, which is a really cool Rolex anomaly, that might be something you want to consider. You know, what are people going to think about it and how are they going to react to it? But really, when it comes down to it, as long as you know it's real, that really is good enough. And it's kind of interesting. If somebody were to ask me about my watch, hey, is that a real Rolex? Or even better, question me, that's a fake, isn't it? That would be pretty cool, because they wouldn't do that with a Seiko. They wouldn't do it pretty much with any other brand. But Rolex is such a big deal that they can't quite get their head around it that you could possibly have one. And it says something about their conception of the brand and about your accomplishment in getting one. You know, I think it would be pretty swell to go back to the States and see old friends and they go, it's not a real Rolex. You know, it would be like having a supermodel wife and showing somebody her picture and they go, it's not your wife. And you're thinking to yourself, it is. She's at home. It is. And it would just make it all the sweeter, right? So I've never had any issues with people bringing up the legitimacy of my watches, and I don't think I would in this country, because I saw at least 2 Rolexes today and I really wasn't looking. So there are a lot of Rolexes here, a lot of brands here, and the Japanese love their brands, and I'm sure there are fakes floating around. In fact, I've seen fakes on people's wrists before, but they were pretty quick to admit it was a fake. I was at a bar and this guy had just a terrible fake, and he was like, yeah, this is totally fake, and I took some pictures of it, which I wish I had to show you. But in other countries, you're not so sure, right? And people might not be so sure. What about you guys? Hey, I'll put a poll, upper right-hand corner, click on it. Has anybody ever insinuated that you have or are wearing a fake in any way? It could be in a YouTube comment. It could be somebody just trying to sort of suss you out and say, hey, that's kind of a nice watch. That's a Rolex. They're pretty expensive. How much did you pay for it? Or you know, I mean, is it authentic? You know, have you ever had anybody try to second guess the legitimacy of your Rolex? Let me know. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
はい。